I know this has gotten really confusing, even I'm confused, but today we're just doing a good old pet pairing, not vintage pet, not the green edition, not anything funky, just a good old pet pairing and a catch-up. So I'm going to start doing my makeup because it's still work day and I still have to get to work. I'm going to take the Inglote eyeshadow primer. I've deposited mine in this little container because there was quite a bit left in the squeezy tube and I didn't want to waste any of it. And we can catch up because, gosh darn, it's been 2 weeks again. I went back on my channel on like my videos to check when the last time was that I posted a video, and I was a bit horrified that it's been 2 weeks. And I don't think at the time I had the idea that I wouldn't have time to film another video, so I didn't really give you a heads up that the last week of June, because like for the last week of June I knew that I would be unavailable. But prior to that, I really didn't think that the month of June would be so busy and I would be so tired that I would be devoid of all energy to film videos. But unfortunately, that's a little bit what happened. So the thing is, let me grab my foundation. It's going to be really hot in the Netherlands today, really hot and sweaty, and I have already tested this foundation several times on like really long, hot, sweaty days. We're going to talk about it in a few days when I do my roundup and empties. That was the little spatula of the Danessa Myricks blurring balm, because that's the product I wanted to use today for foundation and concealer. Let me grab the spatula. So I'm going to grab a little bit, I'm going to smudge it here on the back of my hand, and I'm going to apply it with my Real Techniques sponge. So the little trick that I learned from one of you, because that has actually worked really well for me. And another trick that I wanted to mention, I'm going to take just a little bit like this on the back of my hand. And I'm just going to do this and then pick it up with the sponge. So the other trick I've learned with this product is that in this case, less really, I mean, I would venture to say that pretty much with any foundation, less is more. But with this specific foundation, less really is more. Because if you put just a little bit too much, then it really starts to look very foundation-y and very much like a mask, and it looks a bit dry. At least on my skin it can look a little bit dry if I over apply it. But with this trick that I learned from one of you, that I have passed on to you guys as well, with this trick and just by using a little bit, just enough to even out the skin, and once the product sets, it really looks very nice without being too much. I quite enjoy the finish, and the product actually holds up really well throughout the day. Now, because it's very hot and sweaty, I'm going to show you what I do to set it, because I don't use it unset now that it's going to be, I don't know, 36 degrees today. Not that I'm really going to be out in the 36 degrees. I'm going to spend most of my time in an air-conditioned, tightly sealed off building, my workplace. But once I'm out, it will be really hot and I will start sweating immediately, and I still have to bike to work, so you know the foundation needs to hold up pretty well in that time. So if I apply it like this a little bit with a sponge, I really like the finish, because it looks very natural, it doesn't look too heavy, it doesn't look cakey. I'm very pleased with it. And now I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger to push here underneath my eyes, because I do think this looks also amazing as a concealer. Something that I never expected is that a product like this would look really good under my eyes. I thought it would look heavy, cakey and dry, but for whatever magical reason, it looks amazing underneath my eyes. Anyway, going back to the month of June. So in the month of June, I had a bunch of, you know, my regular work, but on top of that, we purchased a device in the group. Well, technically the department purchased it, but I think our group is going to be the biggest user of that device. Anyway, so we purchased this really amazing device. It's really cool technology, very cutting edge. We are one of the first people in the world to have the device, so I think we can do some absolutely incredible science with it, and I can't wait to start using it. But in the month of June, we were going to have the installation of the device and then also the training. And the training was planned for the last week of June, so I basically already knew that the last week of June I'm going to be unavailable. Like I said, I do like to set this product when I know that it's going to be a really hot and sweaty day, and what I've been enjoying is I take a little bit of my Prada Reset Rebalancing Powder and I still use my sponge, so I put a little bit of product on my sponge and then I just push it into my skin. And the thing is, because this powder is so incredibly natural, it doesn't add any additional dryness to your skin. It sort of like sets the product, and you can see that it sets the product and further blurs my skin without really looking heavy or cakey, and without really appearing as if you're adding layers upon layers of makeup. So I really like the combination of these two products together. So I think excuse me, if you find yourself in the need of powdering this product down, a powder like the Prada one is really amazing for that. I think the two look really beautiful together. Let's quickly do brows with the Too Faced Laminating Brow Wax. Anyway, the installation of the device turned out to be a lot more complicated, I think, than any of us had anticipated. Because it is quite a complex device consisting of quite a few different sort of elements, and it's quite sensitive. It has, yeah, there are lasers in the device, and the lasers are very, very sensitive, so we had to buy a special table in order to place the device on, because the device has to remain very stable throughout use. So we had to buy a special table. There was a faulty part in the special table, and we only discovered that once the device had basically been bolted onto the table. So that was fun. So there were a lot of like troubleshooting steps and a lot of things that had to be figured out in the meantime. And like I said, that was all happening while I still had a lot of other work to do. So the month of June turned out to be quite busy, and I didn't really mind it. You know, sometimes in your job you have busier moments and then you have to hustle, but then, you know, quieter moments come and you can recover your energy a bit. So I knew that June would be a bit more intense, especially towards the last part, but what I didn't anticipate is the week of the training. There were some extra added layers of fun added onto the mix. For my bronzer today, I'm going to take the shade Bronze from the Dior Forever Glow Maximizer line, and am I going to maybe just put a few dotties like this and try to blend those out? Maybe not even a few dotties, but like a very minimal amount of dotties, because this product is actually really pigmented. I almost always go a bit overboard with it. And then I'm going to grab this brush from Sonia G in order to blend it out. Oh, that worked out really well. So first of all, I think the last time we saw each other, I mentioned that we're going to watch Dear Evan Hansen, the musical. So that's what we did. On Saturday before the week of the training, we went to Amsterdam. We had an absolutely amazing time, except for the fact that I absolutely despise Amsterdam. I hate going there. If I didn't have to, I wouldn't. It's really busy, it's full of tourists, I hate it. But unfortunately, it is the only place sometimes where you can see these kind of productions, like musicals, theater. So we didn't really have another choice. And I really wanted to see Dear Evan Hansen because I love the music. The music is amazing. And we watched the Dutch production of it, so it was all in Dutch, translated. I think they did an absolutely amazing job. Now I'm having a deja vu as if I've already told you this story. I don't think so. No, I've not told you. I told you we were going to see it, but not that we've already watched it. So we both really loved it. The cast was just like young people just out of the academy. They were so talented. The show was so well done. I had like a brok in mijn keel. Now it's only coming to me in Dutch. You know when something like gets you by the throat and you feel like you're going to cry almost the whole time? From the first song onwards up until the end, I was like this the whole time, and I had to repeat to myself like about 100 million times, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, you're going to ruin your makeup, don't cry. I wasn't going to ruin my makeup because my makeup stays really well even if I cry, but I held off the tears. Well, there were a few here and there, but I held off for the most part. The musical was really beautiful. We had dinner afterwards here in town when we got back from Amsterdam. So I was in really positive spirits, you know, ready to take on the training week. I'm going to take the Victoria Beckham Cheeky Posh in the shade Fever, which is this gorgeous shade, very vibrant, like a very vibrant coral orange type shade, amazing for summer. Where was I? Oh yeah, so we saw Dear Evan Hansen. I was very lucky that I got my period right after, or like it got really worse the day after. So on Sunday I was pretty much dead because I think I've mentioned this before, but I have a lot of issues nowadays since I turned 40 with very heavy bleeding in the first few days of my period. Anyway, it was okay, and on Sunday I thought, great, you know, we can get it over with today and then the week can start. And then Monday I went to work, and the training was supposed to last from Monday afternoon, although on Monday afternoon it was pretty minimal input from our side, but basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on Friday there was going to be a seminar. So most of the week was looking quite busy, but luckily not Monday. So I went to work on Monday and I felt a little out of sorts. And I thought, maybe I just didn't really sleep very well, because the night before, Jane the Ripper here, aka Lisa, one of my cats, brought a bird in the house. And that happened at 2 a.m. It really like broke the cycle of my sleep. I couldn't fall asleep. I couldn't fall back asleep for a really long time. I'm going to stick with the Dior Forever Glow Maximizers for my highlighter, and I'm going to mix the shades Peachy and Gold just on my cheekbones. So I went to work. Like I said, I was feeling a little bit out of sorts, and I figured, you know what, maybe I just didn't sleep well. I still have some time. I'm going to take it easy today. I'm gonna go home. I'll take a nap. It will be fine. So then I headed home. I took a little nap. I went to pick up my son from school in the afternoon. And then I went back home and I thought, oh, crappity crap. I felt like, you know, when you have these like body aches, when you feel the beginning of, you know, a virus starting to ravage your body. Yeah, that's what I felt. And then I thought, fantastic. Let me take some paracetamol and go lay down for a bit. So I went back to sleep. I napped for most of the rest of the afternoon, because also I very much developed a pretty high fever at that point. So throughout Monday afternoon and Monday evening, I had a pretty high fever. So I had to take paracetamol several times. I felt really sick, like my stomach felt really sick, so I had to throw up on Monday evening. I didn't eat a lot. It was just not looking great. So I panicked a little bit. And the thing is, I have the luxury and the privilege of being one of the first 2 people in the whole department who will be trained on this new device. I will be a major user of the device, and there was literally no backup. People were either on holiday, unavailable, or for whatever reason they couldn't join the training. So it was really me and another colleague, and mostly the responsibility fell on me to be there. So I figured, you know what, somehow on paracetamol and prayers I'm going to have to make this week. It's a lie. I don't do praying, so it was really mostly determination and paracetamol that pushed me through the next day. I'm going to set the face makeup with a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush setting spray, and then we can proceed on to the eye look. But anyway, so on Tuesday I still felt a bit unwell, but you know, with a lot of paracetamol and determination I made it through the day. On Wednesday I felt a little bit better and I thought, yay, the virus has left the premises. And then on Thursday I feel like the virus kind of like moved into my stomach, and unfortunately it's kind of been residing there ever since. So it's already almost a week later, and I wouldn't say I'm completely recovered. I'm still really quite picky with food, and if I have a large meal I feel like I have a brick in my stomach. So unfortunately I think it will take a while before I'm fully recovered, but my digestive tract is my Achilles heel, so if something hits there, I know that it will take weeks before I feel better. So unfortunately, I know that it will be some time before I feel normal again. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm really happy with my base makeup. That blush from Victoria Beckham is such a beautiful, vibrant color. This is one of my favorite shades of blush for the summer because it's just so gorgeous. Now, the palette that we're going to dig into today is my beloved Divine Rose 2. This is my absolute favorite summer palette, and I feel like I haven't used it in months, and I'm actually really looking forward to using it today. The first shade I'm going to go into is this beautiful shade here. This is the shade Bronze Rose. Yes, Bronze Rose 005. This is one of my absolute favorite shades in this palette because it is this beautiful neutral bronzy shade in the gorgeous Heart Gelée formula from the original Motherships. And I'm just going to use that as a one and done on my lids because this texture is very forgiving and you can use it in a variety of different ways. It's just beautiful. Other than that, the training was really fun. I really enjoyed it. The team that the company set to train us were 2 really cool dudes. We had a really fantastic time and I enjoyed the training so much. I think part of the reason I made it through the week was that the training was just so incredibly fun and enjoyable. We learned a lot. We can't wait to start using the device ourselves and see how that works out. So basically that's the reason I went a bit MIA, especially last week. I was just so unwell that I barely made it through the day at work, and then I came home and I had to take a mandatory nap of 2 hours before I can do anything else. So then I slept through most of the time that I was not at work. But I made it. I'm starting to feel somewhat better. This week is a lot less busy, and I think the whole month of July will be a little bit less busy. But I must give you also a heads up already now that in the mid through almost end of July, right before my holidays, one of my cousins is going to visit. He just turned 18. He's finishing high school in New York, and he is planning on going into life sciences. And he contacted me about a year ago saying that he's really interested to, you know, get some experience in an actual academic research lab. And if it's possible, he would like to come and do that in the institute where I work. Okay, I'm going to take just the absolute smidgen, the tiniest bit of this matte shade here. I don't want the look to become too pink, but I just want to like deepen slightly up the outer corners without adding anything that's too dark. So I'm just going to fluff this shade here in the outer corners. So and of course I'm more than happy to pass on the enthusiasm and the knowledge. So of course I told him that he's more than welcome to come, and we had talked about it for quite a while, and finally it is happening. So he's coming on July 13th, and he's going to stay for 2 weeks. He's going to shadow me at the lab. I'm going to take him along on the experiments that I'm doing at that time, and we're also just going to, you know, hang out, get to know each other, because I haven't actually met him. I met his brother when I was in New York many moons ago. I think the one and only time I've been to New York was in 2009 after I went to a congress in New Orleans. And I have a lot of family living in New York, so it was really fun to see them in 2009. But when I visited them, my cousin who's coming to visit wasn't born yet. His brother was born, so I met him, although I'm pretty sure he doesn't remember me by now because it's been many years since then. So we've only really seen each other online, and I am really excited to meet him in real life. Okay, that worked out actually very well, because I think layered over top of the bronzy shade, it just added a little bit of depth without adding too much of a crazy pink color. He will be here for 2 weeks, which means that realistically I really will not have much time to turn on the camera. I will try to maybe have a video here and there. I think he can be perfectly entertained by the variety of gaming devices we have in the house, and he will not need me 100% of the time. But I don't know how my energy will be. Maybe I'll be really tired. I'm going to grab a little bit of the NYX glitter glue. So I don't want to make any promises for the mid to almost end of July. Then I will have a week between him leaving and going on holidays, which will be the beginning of August. I'm going to put a little bit of that in the inner corners and a slight bit on the lid to add a bit of tack, because I want to apply the bronze shade also over top of the tacky base, just using my finger. So I think I will definitely see you. I plan on filming a few videos between now and his arrival, and I also plan on filming a video before I leave on holiday, but I don't want to make promises for things, so we will just see each other a bit more sporadically throughout the summer. And then once I'm back from holidays, hopefully we can go back to normal schedule and have at least one video a week. Oh, this is really pretty. I'm really enjoying this. For my inner corners, I'm going to mix a little bit of the Skin Show shade together with this sparkly shade here, because the Skin Show shade is just a little too dark for me to apply in the inner corners, but it really lights up when I mix it with the sparkly shade from the Divine Rose 2 palette. So that's what I usually do when I use this palette. And the other funny thing is that because I was so tired, I had absolutely no desire to even think about buying new makeup. So in the month of June, I've really only bought the 2 new lipsticks from Lisa Eldridge. And I think I forgot to tell you in the video where I demoed these, but I actually bought them with quite a bit of a significant discount, because what I didn't realize is, I'm going to grab a little bit of the matte shade to put on my lower lashes. What I didn't realize is that I had accumulated a bunch of points, and every time I ordered, I used a little bit of the points for like 5% discount, but like 5% is nothing, and I had so many points. What I didn't realize is that you can stack up to 5 of those discount codes to get down to almost like 20 25% of your purchase. You can stack up to 5 of those codes, but you can just keep going until the website tells you, okay, now you've had enough. So I actually bought the 2 lipsticks with quite a significant discount, and I still have a bunch of points because, to be fair, I also didn't realize how many points I had on this Eldridge's website. Which is probably not something to brag about, because it means I've spent a lot of money on her products. But you know what, I've really been disappointed. So I think Lisa Eldridge and I are, you know, on good terms in terms of how much money I've spent on her products. Anyway, so the 2 new Lisa Eldridge lipsticks are basically the only thing I bought in June. Good job, Maria. And the thing I'm most proud of is I still haven't bought any of those darn YSL quads. Captivating Dune still has me in a chokehold, but I will first swatch it in store, because it might turn out after I swatch it in store that all of my desire to buy it is gone. If it turns out that the opposite is the case, I might consider purchasing it on sale. Anyway, for some fun layering, I'm going to grab the Bridgerton 2 palette, and we're going to go into this beautiful topper shade right here. And I'm going to layer that over the orangey bronzy shade for a little bit of extra sparkle. And that's basically going to be the look for today. Nothing complicated, just a fun, vibrant summer look and a bit of a catch-up. I hope that you're all doing well. I can't wait to hear what you have purchased makeup-wise. Any new fun things? What would you recommend? What's up? What's new? Can't wait to catch up with you. So here is the final look. I added a fun little detail at the very end because my dress has quite a bit of blue elements going to it, including this little like belt element here. And I thought just like a touch of blue would really tie the look together. So I put a little bit of blue just in my waterline, and I used one of my old Urban Decay pencils for that. That is the shade Accuse. And on my lips, I'm wearing actually a lip gloss for the first time in a really long time, because I was digging through my lipstick collection and lip gloss collection, a little bit inspired by the most recent video from Claudia from POB Mindset. And I thought I'm going to put my lip glosses here on my desk so that I use them a little bit more now throughout the summer. So on my lips, I have this Eeny Meeny matte lipstick from Pat McGrath Labs in the shade Beautiful Stranger. And over that I have a little bit of this beautiful lip gloss, also from Pat McGrath Labs, in the shade Dreamscape. It's been a while since I've worn this gloss and I really like it. It was actually what I had on my lips throughout the whole video, but just on its own. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the look altogether, and nothing too groundbreaking, bronze with a pop of blue. For summer, I have, you know, the meme with Miranda Priestly from The Devil Wears Prada with like groundbreaking in my head, but you know, it's a classic for a reason. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed the little catch up. Do let me know how you're doing. I can't wait to chat with you in the comments. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!